So,
Really? Oh, they both like to speak.
good evening, everyone. Today's April 8th, 2026, and I hereby call the Town of Babylon Rental Board to order. Please stand and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Sal Mangano. I'm the chairperson. With me this evening, Maria Idisi, Kelly Medwig, Mike Murray, Mark Smith, Patrick Nolan. Carla Bryant is excused for the evening. And for the record, we do have a quorum present. Just take a moment to please silence your cell phones at this time. Before we begin calling the hearing scheduled for this evening, I would like to take a moment and explain our procedures. I will call the hearing scheduled one at a time in the order that has been published in a legal notice and listed on our agenda. Starting with case number 1, I will read the legal notice aloud. The applicant or an authorized representative will step up to the podium. The speaker must give his or her name and home address for the record. All speakers will be sworn in by myself. The applicant or the representative will be given an opportunity to present any information that they wish to present to the board. If none, we will proceed to board questions. After board questions, any interested parties will have an opportunity to speak. The applicant will be called back at the end of the hearing to respond to any questions or concerns. The public hearing will likely be closed after the applicant answers any final questions. Should there be any open issues on the application or items that need to be remedied or corrected, the hearing may be held open for a longer period in the board's discretion to allow time for the applicant to make such corrections. If you wish to speak, ladies and gentlemen, please keep it to the property issues and the property issues only. At this time, we ask you please silence your cell phones. And please note, the rental board shall have the right to rely on any information that is presented by the applicant. If any such information is later found to be inaccurate or incorrect, the rental board may determine that any approvals, rental permits, or other actions previously granted in connection with the applicant are null and void. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask Peter, our attorney for the board, to please come up and just say a few words.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I briefly spoke to you off the record before. I'm just going to remind you that this is a rental board. There's decorum here. We have public safety officers here. I just want to make sure that this goes civil. And that the lawyer for Hands Across Long Island, who is here tonight, at his request to be heard, is heard. He is going to be questioned by the members of the board who are seated behind me. I'm going to ask you to just listen to the questions that they have to ask him. They are the ones that are going to be asking the questions. This is a case that has been continued from last month. The reason why it was continued from last month is we notified everyone that this case would be heard last month. And as such, everyone who was seated here tonight that came there last time, you had the opportunity to be heard at that time. We also received a numerous amount of correspondence that has been forwarded to the rental board. They are going to be considering that as well. If after tonight you still wish to be heard, you have every right to do so in writing by contacting the department and rendering your emails and your letters to the previous address that you provided before. But again, I'm going to just remind you, tonight is a continuation of the case as it was started, and we're going to hear from the lawyer tonight, and he's going to be questioned. All right? Thank you very much.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to call the first new application. It's 145 West 18th Street in Deer Park. How you doing, sir? Please come forward. How are you, sir? Please raise your right hand.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir. For the record, can you please state your name and your home address?
Jabdet Ahmed, 1 McCall Court, Dix Hills, New York, 11746.
Thank you, sir. When you sent in the application on this property, do you agree to the terms and conditions on this property?
Yes.
Thank you, sir. Anyone here from the board have any questions or concerns?
No, thank you.
No, thank you.
Anyone here in the audience have any questions or concerns regarding this property? Hearing none, at this time, do you have a motion?
Motion to approve, Kelly Medwig.
Seconded by?
Seconded by Mike Murray.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, this has been approved. Thank you, sir. You can take
Thank you,
off.
ladies and
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night.
As we move on to the renewals, 184 West 3rd Street in Deer Park. How are you today, ma'am?
Good, how are you?
Good, please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. For the record, could you please state your name and your address, your home address?
Kimberly Furia, 270 Spagnoli Road, Suite 200, Melville, New York, 11747.
Thank you very much. Anyone here from the board wish to speak regarding this property?
Yes, I would, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Hi, how are you tonight?
Good,
My
how are
name
you?
is Mike. There's just a couple things we need you to do before you give me permit, okay? If you could remove all the debris from the property, please, and all the tree debris
Okay.
and other debris on the side of the driveway there.
Is it
And all-
behind the fence or in the corner?
That's
In
to the
front?
left, yeah, to the
Okay.
left, and then the other part is to the right there. Any
Okay.
loose debris that's around, just please give it a good cleanup.
Yes.
Okay?
Anyone here from the audience that wish to speak regarding this property? Yes. Just have a seat, ma'am, okay?
Yes.
Please come up. How are you today?
Good,
Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. For the record, can you please state your name and your home address?
Anita Cornetto, 190 West 3rd Street.
Okay, great. So how can we help you tonight?
Okay. I live right next door to this property.
Okay?
I am actually opposed to the rental permit. This property was rented without one, so there's currently tenants in there. There's also commercial
This is a
work.
renewal.
So they have
This
one.
was a renewal.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's commercial vehicles on the property, and there's commercial work being done on the property. As of now, there's still cars parked behind the fence on this property.
Okay.
We've sent, there's been numerous emails sent with photos showing the commercial vehicles, showing the work being done.
Who were the emails to, do you know?
Somebody named Ronnie.
Yeah, they were not sent to us. That's what, Ronnie Morrow, was that the name?
I think so, yeah.
That's ordinance. That's our ordinance department, so.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, we do have the photos available if the board would like to see them.
No, we'll get them.
We'll get them,
Okay.
of course. Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else would like to speak regarding this property? Hearing none, please come forward. So, obviously, no commercial vehicles. Oh, you want to speak? Okay, have a seat, ma'am, I'm sorry. How are you, ma'am? Okay. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
For the record, can you please state your name and your home address?
Kim Seitz, 204 West 3rd Street, Deer Park, New York, 11729.
Great, thank you. So how can we help you, ma'am?
I am 2 houses down from this property,
Okay,
and I oppose the rental permit.
okay,
They're constantly tow trucks, flatbeds up and down the block. They were tearing up the driveway, and this can be 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. They got big, like, football fog lights in the backyard.
okay,
You hear them working on cars, and also there's still, as she was saying, cars in the backyard.
okay.
I'm the one that sent all the pictures to Ronnie.
When you get a chance, if you could send them to rental comments at Town of Babylon.
He told me he was going to forward them. I have his emails telling me he's going to forward them.
When was this?
Recently, I sent it
A
on
week ago or less than that?
it could be a little more like
More
a week,
than that?
week,
Okay.
and, week and a half ago.
Was his last name
And
Morrow?
as of today, there's still cars back there as you pass. And I think there's too many occupants living in the residence.
Okay.
Okay,
Thank you.
okay, thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. Please come forward. Hold on. Anyone else want to speak regarding this property? Hearing none. Okay. So do you have any knowledge of them
To
working?
our knowledge, there's only the 4 occupants and the babies that are on the rental, our rental application for them.
Okay,
All the items that were mentioned as far as the cars, the unregistered and the commercial were removed as per the deficiencies on the inspection.
Okay.
And then he came back and verified that everything. To my knowledge, there's nothing there as we speak.
okay.
Violation?
Excuse me, I'd just like to make you aware that if you're given the renewal, if the violations persist,
Yeah.
your renewal permit can be
Revoked,
revoked.
correct.
Okay? So if we
Understood.
make sure you understand.
No, we know. It's been a long process.
Look, that's if you,
And the vehicles in the back at night and the lights?
Are not allowed.
they need to be good neighbors.
I
That's what-
understood.
You wouldn't want it next to you, right?
No, I would not.
Okay. Okay.
At this time,
Thank you.
At this time, do we have a motion?
Motion to extend till May 20th, 2026, to anything else that needs to be rectified and us do a
So
little
the-
bit
the
more
side.
work on finding out about what was happening.
Okay.
Seconded by?
Seconded by Mike Murray.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none. We're going to extend this to May 20th. You know, we want to, you know, obviously, things you can do first is do, you know, obviously clean up all the debris and things like
Correct.
that, just be a good neighbor. And then obviously, we're going to have the investigators go there to make sure there's no cars, no work being done. No. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I will speak to Investigator Moore also.
Okay?
Okay,
Great.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Move on to revocation first, and then Wall Street.
Okay. So at this time, we're going to be calling the revocation. This is for 930 North Putnam Avenue, Lindenhurst.
Oh, really?
Good evening.
Good evening, sir. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you, sir. For the record, can you please state your name and your address?
Yep. Charles Russo, 1601 Veterans Memorial Highway, Islandia, New York.
Thank you.
I'm the attorney for Haley.
Yes, sir. Obviously, clearly, there's a few problems with the property.
Correct.
Clearly. I've never seen this many people at a hearing before, to be honest with you. Does there anyone here from the board have any questions or concerns regarding this property?
I do, Mr. Chairman. Patrick Cullen. Do we want to give him a chance to speak on the property?
Yeah, you could actually, I know you have, you want
If
to
you'd like to, yeah, if you would like to speak and address
Yeah, I
the
think
concerns
that
of the
would be-
property. Hold on.
Yeah.
If you would like to speak and address the concerns that have faced it and any corrective actions that you've taken so far, you can give those to us now, and then we'll talk a little bit after that.
Good. Thank you very much. First of all, I want to thank the board for the consideration. I was in California on the last hearing, and I requested the adjournment, and that was very gracious of you to give it to me. We've had the opportunity to see and listen to the community's complaints and frustrations at the hearing on March 11th. Peter Mayer stated at that meeting that the public statements, as well as the emails that were received, would be part of this, this hearing. So I asked for those emails, and he did, in fact, send me whatever emails he had at that time. I don't know if there are any new ones, but certainly if there are, or letters, I'd like to get copies of them. Tonight I have Melissa Wettengel, who's the executive director, as well as Liz Perry, who's the chief of programs, with me this evening. Haley is a 501c3 not-for-profit, duly organized in the state of New York, and licensed by the Office of Mental Health, and as such is directed by the New York State Supportive Housing Guidelines, which I'll talk about in a minute. These guidelines direct the agency on how to operate, but most importantly, how and when to process an eviction, which is the subject of what we're going to be talking about tonight. Haley purchased 939 North Putnam in 2005, and this residence contains 8 two-bedroom apartments and represents 11.4% of the agency's housing capacity. This is a supportive housing program that serves adults with behavioral health needs, and it's funded and regulated by the New York State Office of Mental Health, with the Suffolk County government giving us referrals. Since its inception of the program, the property has continually passed town inspections and has never been fined. The subject of this hearing is a February notice by the town, which references section 153-15F of the town code and refers to specific sections. One, in section 2, whether there's fighting and violent, tumultuous, or threatening behavior by an occupant. In paragraph 6, was there hazardous or physically offensive conditions created by an act of the occupant. And then under number 9, any other reason where the board finds it is the best interest of the community to revoke the permit. And we're well aware of the complaints that are heard, but I also want to point to your code, and under section 153-6F, there's a presumption, which is in favor of Haley. It's important to acknowledge that presumption. Your presumption says there shall be a presumption in a hearing to revoke a rental permit that an eviction proceeding having been filed with a court of competent jurisdiction prior to the service of the revocation hearing notice by the town of Babylon is proof that the owner of said premises has taken the steps to remediate the violations at the premises and that the rental permit should not be revoked. This presumption favors Haley, and this presumption shall continue until the Suffolk County Sheriff's Office executes a warrant of eviction or the tenants or occupants vacate the premises, and the presumption shall be rebuttable. In fact, the eviction proceedings with the Court of Competent Jurisdictions were prosecuted prior to the service of your notice. We first were notified by the town from the community, the complaints from the community on July 25th of 25. And we represented at that time in a meeting with the town that we would take care of those evictions. It's important that I convey to you the responsibilities of a not-for-profit licensed by OMH before we can evict anyone. And those guidelines mandate how Haley is required not to rush to eviction, and that the town cannot punish them for complying with state guidelines. However, once we recognized what the problems were at this site, we in fact prosecuted the evictions. All of the OMH Office of Mental Health requirements apply so that Haley can only evict under the most extreme circumstances. And both the state and this agencies recognize that this was an extreme situation. We point to these state-imposed guidelines to highlight the steps that must be taken before evictions proceedings can be commenced. I cite from the guidelines, when challenges arise in supportive housing, the provider should utilize and document an array of proactive preventive strategies and interventions to reduce the likelihood of a tenant from being evicted. Such referrals to adult protective services or community-based services, holding case conferences, etc. Providers should develop a mechanism to identify and follow up on tenants who are at high risk of losing their housing. Indicators of risk may include rental arrears, refusal of home visits, hoarding, or other unsanitary apartment conditions, unmanaged medical conditions, frequent visits to the emergency room. The policy should include a mechanism for housing staff to bring such concerns and observation to program management, and to develop strategies for the intervention and for additional services. A second guideline is that cessation for other reasons other than goal achievement prior to terminating a tenant from a supportive housing, the provider should discuss the specific situation with the field office. In addition, the provider should be able to document all interventions, case conferences, referrals, or other attempts to re-engage the tenant, including the use of peer support. Hallie exercised all of the imposed guidelines before deciding to prosecute the evictions. And so it began. The eviction process. After that July meeting, we made a representation to your supervisor and the other people that attended the meeting that we would in fact follow the policies of OMH and then begin the evictions. And we had two very troubled people that were with us that we then engaged in the eviction process. I'm going to refer to one of them as SFF and the other as Anthony Bacci. Sahir Filet, SFF, we started getting documents gathered after the July meeting. What you also should understand is in the eviction process, it's not an immediate process. Our state law mandates a 90-day notice, and you're probably all very aware of that. The 90 days notice was executed on 8/21/25, and we served process on 8/28 of 25. The 90-day notice listed, among other things, all of the complaints really from the community, allowing squatters, behavioral violations, allowing squatters to stay in the apartment. And the reports that we got regarding the squatters, people that were let into the facility, we used in our application for the eviction. The 90-day notice expired on November 30th of 2025. The holdover petition was signed on December 11th of 2025, and a petition was filed with the court on December 12th, well before the February 18th violation notice date. And we received a court date of January 6th, a warrant of eviction and judgment of possession issued by the court on January 14th of 26. The court stayed the eviction until the 29th. The eviction was completed by the sheriff on February 19th of 26. And SFF was, this was a rush situation because this is the main person that the community was complaining about, and about panhandling and some of the other allegations correctly made by the community. I'm not arguing any of the things that the community saw, and because we experienced it also. But we expedited as fast as we could the eviction. Immediately thereafter, after SFF was the main problem that we were trying to help the town with, we then began to process the eviction for Anthony Bacci. We received documents again in July of 25, and a 90-day notice of termination was signed on August 20th of 2025. Again, listing allowing squatters as a behavioral violation. The 90-day notice was served on August of 26th, and the petition was signed on January 12th of 26, filed with the court on February 13th of 26, before the violation date notice again of February 18th. Bacci was served on February 18th. His warrant was issued on March 5th, sent to the sheriff on March 12th, and he got a stay date to March 20th. The sheriff served the 14-day notice of eviction and the hearing was conducted thereafter, and he was evicted. It's important to note that it was not until July 25th that we were alerted of all these problems regarding these two individuals. But after that meeting with the town, we
Wait, just
immediately
one second.
began these proceedings.
So there's someone that lives in this house with them, or is there,
I'm sorry.
there's management in this house?
So they have supervision.
Is there
Yes,
supervision?
I'm going to get to that in a
Okay,
minute. Yep,
but
I'm
if
gonna-
the supervision, okay, go ahead. Okay.
I'll finish, it's only
I got a question.
another 40 or 50 pages. No, I'm only kidding.
Yeah.
I used to be able to memorize these things, but that ship has sailed, you know? So anyway,
One quick question.
yes.
The organization, how many times have they been to the property since they bought it? The people who are in charge?
Each week, every week,
Every week they went there?
yeah. I'll go,
But they didn't know the problems existed with the neighbors until the neighbors brought it to their attention?
They never
Well-
heard of any problems.
no, let me just finish this, and then I promise I'll
Okay, thank
direct,
you.
you can
Okay.
direct whatever questions you want, okay? As I said, the 28th SFF was served with the 90-day termination on August 26th. On August 26th, Bocce was also served. Everything was concluded with these things before the notice came from the town. The complaints themselves. After reviewing the complaints from the community and receipt of certain emails and being confronted with incidents of the garbage that was brought up at the meeting, I'll explain the actions we took. It became apparent to Hallie that the two long-term tenants who was engaged in most of these behaviors were the cause and the issues, causing the issues that we were confronted with. We communicated with the town and began those proceedings. This is a brief timeline. With respect to the garbage, we got a notice of complaint regarding the garbage in July. At that point, Hallie increased the maintenance staff from Monday to Friday to satisfy all those issues. I again bring up that we've never been given a fine or a charge of garbage, but we remedied this complaint, which to date, we have people, maintenance people, Monday to Friday. The panhandling was also associated with the two people that we evicted. To deal with that, Hallie met with Dunkin' Donuts across the street and also the dentist who there were complaints with. With respect to the security, we had a major problem with security. We had a problem of people allowing squatters into the residence. So we increased, we started with the installation of a ring system. That didn't work. So we hired Garda World ECAM to proactively reinforce the safety of the site.
With cameras?
I'm sorry?
With cameras?
Yes, Wi-Fi, I'm sorry?
Just
Yeah,
cameras.
I'm going to get to the on-base security in a second. So we used the ECAM system to engage camera monitoring and virtual security guard services. And we coordinated that with the Suffolk County Police Department. These systems are actively monitored in real time by trained security professionals, allowing for immediate detection of suspicious activity, unauthorized access, or safety issues. Though this is a virtual security guard program, Garda World provides a continuous authority presence. When necessary, operators issue live audio warnings, communicate directly with individuals on site, and intervene promptly. When an incident meets a predefined escalation criteria, Garda World ECAM promptly notifies and coordinates with the Halley staff and police to ensure appropriate and timely response. All security-related incidents are documented and recorded, providing accountability and transparency. These records are available for review as needed and support ongoing coordination. That we felt wasn't enough, so we hired on-site temporary security, which was quite expensive. And then we took further security measures by changing and upgrading all the locks, reinforcing the exterior doors, but then converting one of the empty rooms into an on-site staff security presence, which we currently have. Coordination with law enforcement and meetings with Inspector Forte and the behavioral section of the 1st Precinct have also been very helpful in coordinating it all. This is not an easy process for us because we've got to comply with the state, we've got to comply with the county regulations, and we have to comply with fair housing. So as you may know, we are also guided by the Fair Housing Act, which protects persons in protected classes such as ours that seek housing assistance. The disability is a protected class. So these disabled people are a protected class. Pursuant to this law, a violation would be to refuse accommodation for people with disabilities. So we have to account to the town, to the state, and to the federal government when we take these people into our program. Under the Fair Housing Act, we're entitled to a reasonable accommodation, which is a change or exception or an adjustment to the municipality of housing rules, policies, practices, or services that is necessary for a person with a disability to have an equal opportunity to use and enjoy the dwelling. So here, we're also asking for that reasonable accommodation. There's another area of, now that we've evicted some very critical people that were causing problems, we now have the ability to, through the county, to bring in new people. And it gives us an opportunity to kind of guide our way and request. There's a single point of access within the county, which means that there's one single point of access group that any group home or supported housing funnels its way through. And we have some ability, and which we're attempting to do, to try to get families with kids in there as opposed to individuals. So we're working on that.
But that's not a guarantee, right?
No, it's not a guarantee, but it's something that we are driving towards, and we've had success with other not-for-profits that I represent. We hope that we're going to have some success there. Losing these units would reduce supportive housing capacity in Suffolk County. So we have pressure from Suffolk County, just like we have pressure, just like I'm standing before this board. It comes from a number of different places. As I mentioned, the Office of Mental Health, Fair Housing Group, but we also have pressure from Suffolk County itself for this type of housing. The stabilization actions, program enhancements that we've done, and referral adjustments outlined will ensure the long-term viability of the property. Halley remains committed to working closely with the county and state partners and the community to maintain the site as a stable, recovery-oriented housing resource for individuals with family. We are sensitive to the community and hope you can see the work we have done and will continue to conduct to ensure that we prove ourselves as good neighbors And we're open, and what I would hope that we can suggest here is a meeting with the town, the police, members of this board, as well as members of the community, so that we can ensure a continued partnership addressing all of these pertinent issues. So I thank you for your input, and I'm handle any questions you may have.
Thank you very much. I'm sure there's many questions.
Chairman, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, no, please, no.
Took you a while to get sensitive, huh?
I'm sorry?
Took you a while to get sensitive to the community complaints, right?
No, I don't think so. I think,
You don't think so?
from day one, when I started on this and dealing with Hallie, as with many other not-for-profits that have,
Do you know how long this has been going on?
well, I know when I got involved was in July of '25.
A lot of things went on before that, too.
Well,
What if it- well, let me ask you a
if it
question.
did, excuse me
With-
one
with-
minute. If it did, there aren't any complaints, there aren't anything that we were served with, and there were no fines, there was nothing.
It's not about fines. It's
Okay,
not
what-
about what you're served with.
It's about notice.
Who's going to care about the community? Who's going to take into consideration? I know you have your mental health, the county, state. I get it. But what about the people that live around it and have to deal with it? Who's going to help them?
I just offered that, and that's a sincere
I
offer.
think it's a little too late.
Well, I don't think it is.
Just my opinion.
I don't think it is. I don't think it is. I think as a community, the community tolerates an awful lot. I understand.
Community has tolerated an awful lot.
I understand that. I understand that. But there's a presumption here. Don't forget that. There's a presumption here, okay? And that presumption overcomes the removal of the permit.
Did the gentleman who went to Dunkin' Donuts and talk to the dentist, did he go talk to any of the neighbors?
I can't speak to whether there are other
But
people.
you knew he went to Dunkin' Donuts and...
I do know that
Okay.
we spoke to Dunkin' Donuts and we spoke to the,
So do you have no information on him speaking to any of the neighbors?
I don't know, but I
The
could
people who
find
were
that out.
there 24/7?
I could find out.
Okay.
Okay. I could find out. I do know that from that meeting, the issues that were addressed, we addressed immediately. Immediately. Okay? We recognized what the problems were and who the problems were.
I don't
And
think
at
this many people
at this
would be
moment
here
in
if
time,
that's the case.
I'm sorry?
I don't think this many people would be here if you addressed every issue they had.
Well, at this moment in time, with the removal of those people, I think there's been a change. I think there's been a change.
I don't think so. If there's this many people here now, there hasn't
We're
been a
still
change.
getting complaints.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they'll
The police were there
communicate that with you.
Police were there 2 weeks ago.
I'm sorry?
Police were there.
Okay.
I'd like to speak to the, can I bring up your clients?
I'm sorry.
Can your clients come up?
Doesn't know.
You?
Okay, okay.
Mr. Russo, thank you for coming in.
Yes.
My name is Patrick Nolan, and I appreciate the short version that you gave us today. There's a presumption of compliance, and there's all kinds of leniencies and accommodations that can be made, and Hallie is a not-for-profit. We believe in supported housing. You know, everyone's got to have a home. You know, it has to go certain places. What you've come before us to say is not, we've messed this up. Because the people behind you, they showed up a month ago. You couldn't be here. It's how it goes. They came back, and they don't even get the chance to speak again tonight because they had their chance, but they're still here. And a lot of what I heard you say was, we're doing all these things, and we evicted these two people, and now fresh start. You also said, that there's been no violations and no fines. That's not evidence of your compliance. That's evidence of getting away with it, as long as you did, while all these people had residents from your facility in their backyard in the middle of the night. Terrifying situations that people from the supported housing unit are creating for the people sitting behind you. I understand July 25th last year, you started eviction against two folks. Did they occupy the same unit of housing? There's 8 units.
Did they occupied two?
Two separate units?
Yes.
Okay. What was the process taken to decipher that the other 6 were not causing a problem? Who decided that?
Well, the staff there decided it because they weren't posing those problems. There were 2 other evictions of people, okay, that for different reasons that had nothing to do with the reasons that the first 2 were evicted. Different, not allowing people in or anything like that, but for other reasons.
How many evictions have there been since Hallie took ownership of the property in 2005?
I couldn't give, since 2005, I couldn't give you that number today, but I'll be prepared to give it to you, which I hope we're going to meet.
Do you see what
Have you been of counsel to Hallie since 2005?
No.
Do you see what these people had to go through to get to this point?
Yes,
these
of course I
residents?
do. Yeah.
Okay.
Listen,
Why did it have to get to this point? That's what I want to know. You wouldn't be standing here if your client did anything about it.
well,
I know you have to justify.
I'm trying to outline the things that they've done, okay? And I can't bring everything in that they've done, but I tried to crystallize some things and steps that they've taken.
My opinion, I think you're a little too late.
Well,
Just my opinion.
well,
They're a
that's,
little too late.
you're entitled to your opinion, and I understand that. But we are going to proceed
Okay.
in
You can.
attempting to rectify everything and to bring to the community what they're looking for, and that's some peace. We've got a security person that lives there now.
They still don't have peace.
When did the security person start living there?
It's probably about 6 to 8 weeks ago.
And it's 24/7.
Yes,
They're inside, outside? where-
inside they have an apartment in
Right,
in the
but-
unit. We took one of those apartments.
From what we hear, the occupants are going down the block, though. It's like, so
I can't answer that. I don't know.
that's,
But is he monitoring the outside and what they're doing, like what the people are doing? Are they leaving? Are they causing problems in the neighborhood? Are they going to Dunkin' Donuts? Are they going?
We haven't had any complaints
We just got another complaint from 4 days ago
about.
about a person wandering around the neighborhood.
Were they from our program?
Yes.
yes.
You've identified them from being from our program?
Neighbors did.
Let's not split the hairs over whether.
sorry?
I'd rather not split hairs over whether or not they were from the property, and I understand we don't know who they are.
Yeah.
Or whether they were coming from your facility. From what year were you of counsel for Hallie? How long have you been the lawyer for Hallie?
Probably 3 years.
Okay. And during that time, how many evictions have there been?
I don't handle the evictions. My partner, Rich Cordano, handles them, but
Okay.
I would imagine, I would imagine 7 or 8.
Okay. What's wrong, I'm an accountability guy. My kids are actually here tonight. They get to see me. They know what they get at home, the accountability that they face. What's wrong with standing up, the organization reaching out to every one of the neighbors, go knock on the doors, and give them the opportunity to speak to them? None of the folks that are here made any indication that Hallie had reached out to any of them. And, we're talking Dunkin' Donuts and a dentist, that's a start. There's probably 75 more doors that need knocking. And Hallie has not done a good job. I'm addressing the 2 people in the audience that are from there. This is not a success. This is not a successful placement. It's not successful monitoring. It's not supportive. It's, if this is supported housing, it needs to be supported times 10. And I understand there's budget resources, scarcity that don't come in, and it's hard to put a full-time security person on. But the folks that live in this community, that surround this community, the residents of of Hallie's property, they have the right to be there, and they have the right to have their services, but they don't have a right to have the impact on the community that they've had. And as I said earlier, the absence of fines and violations is not indication of any kind of compliance. There's just none. I mean, the things that the folks told us, the situations that they described, I'm at a loss. I mean, I think Hallie has a full-time staff, right?
Yes.
How many people?
At this location?
No, just in general.
I don't know. What's total amount?
Two total for this program, housing, which is about 15 locations across Long Island.
Okay. Okay.
Excuse me one sec. Mark, would just like to read an excerpt from...
Councilor Russo?
Yes.
I'd like to read something for you. You mentioned that there were 2 evictions of what you would consider the main offenders or most problematic. And then you mentioned 2 other evictions. And that's out of 8 two-bedroom apartments, but the problems persist. You make it sound like, okay, we evicted those 4 individuals and everything is fine, but that's actually not the case.
I didn't say everything is fine.
No, you didn't say that, but you're trying to lead us to believe that, or in some summation, that's how it's coming across. But I wanted to read something to you.
Mm-hmm.
Some correspondence that we received, another one of the complaints. This is like one of the most recent, and the excerpt is as follows. Since the last meeting on March the 11th, I've noticed on more than one occasion this individual, heavyset white male, walking up and down the blocks carrying a large bag and looking into people's houses from the street as he's walking by, and also sitting on the street talking to himself. This is just an example of what continues outside of the evictions and the security. This continues for them, and you have to be made aware of that.
I first, if I may interrupt, again, I can understand that. I don't know if that's one of our residents. I have no idea.
So, what would be the probability, given?
What are the chances that?
What are the chances that it's not?
I don't know. There are
I think the neighbors know who resides there and who doesn't. I mean, I
a good
think
majority of them
could tell
seated
who's
behind
coming
you.
in and out and who's walking up and down the block.
I don't know how I can answer that. It's the first I'm hearing about it. I can certainly look into it. And I ended this presentation by saying, to address your point, is we do want to sit with everyone, and the town, and the police, and let them analyze what we're doing and what else we can do. We want to listen. I mean, our staff wants to listen. Whether they want,
They've
anybody
done a
wants
heck
to
of a
believe
job
that or not.
communicating. They haven't done a very good job communicating that.
Okay.
Well, we have one question. Would you want this house, this type of housing, next door to you?
That's a good question. But I'd like to answer it, okay? For the past 46 years, I've run a program called Hope House in Port Jefferson, which is next door to me, okay? I had a fight to get it there. I have a homeless shelter there that we run, which is exactly 3 minutes from my house. Every time a homeless person winds up in Port Jeff, and the reason they wind up in Port Jeff is because people in other communities give them a train ticket. We're the last stop.
Yeah, but the difference is, you know...
Well, the question is...
Yeah, but Father Frank lives on the property, and he takes care of them, and Father Frank watches them, and Father Frank is an integral part of mentoring these kids and people who live with Hope House Ministries, correct?
As do I.
Okay.
For 46
Just
years.
someone- just
But the
24-hour
point I'm trying to make is yes, communities are tasked with having to accept places like Hope House, places like Haley, because we try to reach out and help the people that need it, whether they're homeless, whether they have mental issues, whether they have criminal issues like we deal with at Hope House, and drug abuse, okay? So I understand, to tell me that I'm not sensitized to all of this, okay? I represent probably 18 not-for-profits that do housing for homeless veterans. This community, when I talk about this community, the town of Babylon is amazing as to what they do. When we had to open up, I'm chair of the Long Island Homeless Coalition. When we had to open up the Homeless Veterans Center, I came to Rich Schaefer and I said, I've got all of the funding. I've got the government to give us this property for $1, but I need it done in 6 months. And he put together everybody and got it done, okay? And we got 60 units built for homeless veterans. We got a 40,000 square foot building which services all these homeless veterans. And we gave 1/3 of the property to the town of Babylon for the park that's over there. But he orchestrated the whole thing. And I could go to each township and talk about the people, and that's why I have so much confidence in our community, in communities, because they have big hearts and they care. And it used to be NIMBYism. I did almost all of the Padavin hearings on Long Island, okay, for the group homes. And you know, I've been before every kind of public setting possible. And then initially, they would fight those hearings. But when they became good neighbors, the problem here today is I'm being told that we're not good neighbors. But to rectify that, I ended it by saying, I think that the next step should be is for another July 25th meeting with more people involved. And whether it's in a setting like this, yes, our agency should hear what's happening. We shouldn't be insulated from it. But we do have a lot of constraints, whether it's privacy, whether it's state imposed, county imposed, or federally imposed. We have to balance it.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Why weren't they here at the last meeting, the representatives from Haley?
Because I wasn't.
Why, they can't speak?
Well, they could have, but I wanted to be here.
Do they plan on speaking?
I'm sorry?
Do either of them plan on speaking?
Not unless you want to hear from them. I mean,
I'd love to have a conversation. Absolutely.
Yeah, well, Peter.
They're represented by counsel. I mean, if you want to,
What our lawyer just indicated to me was that the two women here are represented by counsel. If you would like to allow them to speak to us directly, I think sorting out some details is the only way to get some clarity.
I have
and
no
some
problem with it.
accountability.
Yeah,
Okay,
I have no
thank
problem
you.
with it. Come on up.
Come on down.
Good evening, ma'am.
Go ahead. It's all you.
Good evening. Can you please raise your right hand?
Good evening.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Thank you. For the record, please state your name and your home address, please.
My name is Melissa Weddingle. I live at 25 Gull Hill Drive, Northport, New York.
Thank you very much. I believe the board has some questions for you. We could start with Mr. Murray. Do you have any questions?
I addressed what I was concerned about to the attorney.
I have questions. I was thinking about being a wise guy and asking you, how many miles it is from 25 Gull Hill Drive to the nearest supported housing unit, but I'm not going to do that. We'll skip forward on that one.
Good question.
Would you care to answer?
I don't know that. I know our main office is in Central Islip, and I spend a lot of time there.
Yeah. There's nobody next door? No, there's no supported housing on your street?
No, there isn't.
Not next door?
No.
Okay.
May I respond to?
No.
Okay.
Eight two-bedroom apartments in this facility represents 11.4% of your total available, puts it about like 79, 80 units? About 80 units?
We have a little bit more than that.
Okay.
Yeah, over 100.
And you indicated that there's a staff of 61 people that are part of this program?
No, we provide a lot of different services. Housing is one of them. I have 62 employees total. We address food insecurity, street outreach,
But
bridging from.
they all interact with the residents.
No, the staff that interacts with the residents, all of our housing locations between 10 and 12.
Okay. It's a lot of staff.
So it was mentioned earlier, do we have people on staff? We didn't then. We are funded to be there once a month. Since we've had so many issues at this location, and our response started before the meeting with the town, we've had people there twice a day. Now, they're not there 24/7, so we can't see everything that's going on, and even when we believe there's an issue, we have to have a reasonable amount of proof before we can take eviction action.
Yeah.
You just said someone's living there full-time from your,
Now we have a live-in super. That was a decision I decided to just invest in. The budget didn't, after this more recent incident, we reworked our budget, and I said we just have to.
Just a quick question. How many residents now are living in this facility? I know it can be up to 18, but then you took away a unit, so 16. But how many people are living in this building now?
Right now, I have 4 legal tenants left and 1 who's awaiting a sheriff
Eviction.
removal. I'm not putting anyone else in there until I know, obviously, that we'll have the permit.
Now, I know your counselor did say that you're trying to get families to live in there, move in there. How would that work with families and tenants that, obviously single men, made in the neighborhood, the neighbors basically said it's all single men. How would families live in a building, obviously with some of these issues? Or would you get rid of the other 4 tenants and to put all families in, or?
The plan would not be to get rid of them. I mean, mixed-use housing statistically, historically has better results. So I've had some early conversations with the county and the Office of Mental Health, who supported the idea. There's plenty of families and couples who have unstable housing, and typically they cannot get placement because it opens up 1 bed at a time. So we really have an opportunity to support some people who need it.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question. What's been the highest occupancy? Right now, you have 4 legal tenants. What's the highest number?
So if the highest would have been 16, I think we've probably had, one time or another, 12. So we haven't been fully, because we've been doing also some renovations.
So we have four residents, and I think it was 4 days ago, we're still getting complaints from the neighbors about the behavior of the residents.
Are you able to share the?
Yeah, the correspondence is all available, absolutely.
That'd be great, okay. And I would like to say this entire group, this entire community, of course, has the right to live in a peaceful community. The biggest reaction I had to seeing, because I did watch it, the community complaints was, I felt terrible. It's a horrible feeling. That being said, all of the actions we're able to take have to be within the confines of the law. So when we met with the town in July, we had already begun a dialogue with our attorney to make these changes and remove people after months and months of trying everything that we could programmatically. Unfortunately, it's, between July, finally having the sheriff removal in February, it's too long, but I don't control that part of the process, unfortunately.
You've owned the property since 2005.
We have. I've been here with the agency for 6 years, but yes, the agency's owned it that long.
Okay. It's not been an appropriate level of supervision and involvement from the organization to support the residents such that they are not crawling around the backyards of people that live next door to them.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's a fail.
That is not acceptable, and I agree with you on that.
This is the first,
I will say
this is the first
that
time I've heard anybody take responsibility for the fact that it's a failure. It's not like, this is not like it's close, we only had 12 residents, we could have had 16. Like, this isn't, come on.
Fair enough. I hear what you're saying about interacting with the community and knocking on doors. To be honest, for many people, they would not like that, to be not. So I very frequently will engage with communities. It typically is responsive. When there's a challenge, we work with the community because we do want to be good neighbors. Everybody deserves to. Our tenants have rights, but that does not exceed the rights of the community around us, and I know that, and I would love to have an opportunity to.
Did you say the assumption is that the neighbors don't want to talk?
No, I'm saying I'm not, it did not, admittedly, it did not occur to me to go knock on people's doors. It was responsive, and other than the panhandling, which I was aware of, and we had an inkling about it before the town contacted us, but it wasn't confirmed. Other than that, for that one individual, I actually wasn't aware because I know what happens in our building. I don't know what happens out in the community because that's not where, that's not where we police. So I rely on communication with the town, with the community, with the police, and I think that has improved, that we're doing a better job at least collaborating. And we are aware now, we weren't always when the police were being engaged. Now with the e-com, every single time we can see it, we get an alert.
Yeah.
More recently, unless there's something that I'm not aware of, when the police have been there, sometimes it's because we ask them for help because we're trying to remove anybody who's unauthorized and not supposed to be there.
I appreciate the engagement with the police department.
And they've been wonderful recently. They've been a great partner with us.
Yeah, I mean, just like the idea that you didn't know, or like, you're responsible for what they do while they're in your property and not when they're at their neighbors' doors. It's, it's supportive housing. There's a human element from your organization of caseworkers that manage the resources for these folks. They know where they're going. They know what they have to know what they're doing when they're not on the property. And just not being involved for this long, since it didn't start July last year. It's been longer than 6 years. It's been longer than the 21 years the organization's had the property. Got to start anew, start from fresh. I'm glad you have 4 residents. I hope you pick new people carefully, and you have like the intensive resources that some people need, and you go out of your way to find out what's happening and find out how people feel living next door.
That's if they get approved.
If a permit is issued.
Fair enough.
Thank you very much. I appreciate you coming up, and I know it's not a whole heck of a lot of fun, but I appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
I appreciate you engaging.
Thank you for letting me be heard, and thank you for everybody here.
Ma'am, just one question. I don't know if your organization would be willing to share a phone number with the neighbors in case there are issues, so the neighbors could call the organization directly. Is that something that you'd be willing to share? Maybe there's a main number that they can call?
I would love to do that. As a matter of fact, I will give everybody my own cell. And I had supplied that to the town sometime in the fall.
I'm talking about all your neighbors here.
Yeah, I can say it right now, or it can go out.
That's entirely up to you.
Yeah.
Hello. It's Melissa, and if anybody wants to write this down, my cell, you can text me, and it doesn't wake me up because it's not always next to my bed, but you can text me anytime. It is 631-433-3200. And any observation, I'll take it.
Thank you for trying to be a good neighbor. Obviously, all these people wouldn't have been here, if they did not want to be heard, if they, obviously, so.
Listen, I need this building, so there is nothing more important to me that we are good partners, good neighbors in public safety and the well-being of, because I have staff who go there, I need them safe, I need my tenants safe, and I want this community to feel safe. They deserve that.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I think no, sir, if you just want to just come up, we're just going to, Thank you very much for letting your client speak, sir. We appreciate that. Thank you, sir. So at this time, do we have a motion?
Considering, Patrick Nolan, I'll make a motion, considering the communications that still come in, I'll make a motion to reserve decision for 30 days to consider the communications that have come in, and we'll come back to it in 30 days. Motion to reserve decision for 30 days.
Seconded by Mark Smith.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we're going to reserve the decision for 30 days. Obviously, there's some more communications coming in from the neighbors and things like that, so we want to have all concise.
Anything you can share with us, so we'd like to get copies of whatever you're getting.
Okay, obviously, we don't have anything at the moment. Yeah.
Mr. Mayor has given me certain things, but
Of course.
I heard tonight there's other letters and correspondence.
We just want to give the neighbors an opportunity to
Yeah.
to speak, and obviously, it was a good thing they all have your client's phone number now, so in case there's any issues leading up for the next month or so.
Correct.
Okay? We appreciate the time coming down, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for your
Thank you very much.
consideration.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Yeah. So at this time, the hearing on Putnam Avenue, North Putnam Avenue is concluded. Thank you very much for all coming. Thank you so much.
What about submission of the petition? You said we had a chance to respond.
No, actually, Mr. Mayor, Peter Mayer, the attorney for the board, said,
As I said at the beginning of this meeting, everyone was notified to come when the case started on March 11th. You had their opportunity to speak at the podium then. What I also brought up tonight is if you want to be heard after tonight, the opportunity to do so is still there. You'd have to write an email or a letter to the rental board for their consideration. And just so you know, every single letter and email is considered. Complaints that, I was just informed that a complaint was filed 4 days ago tonight. That will be considered as well. And if there are further complaints, those will be considered as well. So you do have your opportunity to be heard through that format. All right? Thank you very much.
30 days, are we going to have another meeting back here?
thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. At this time, we'll be ending the live stream for this